Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast of the California MBA featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. Before I welcome today's guests, I'd like to thank our 2024 President's Council sponsors. These are companies that provide a tremendous amount of financial support above and beyond membership for the California MBA, in large part so that we can continue to be strong advocates for the real estate finance industry, for the California State Legislature and our regulators. So please join me in thanking this year's President's Council sponsors. And those companies are AmeriHome, Arch MI, CMG Financial, Consolidated Analytics, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support this year. We really appreciate it. With that, I'm happy to welcome two guests today on the podcast, also two members of my board of directors. One, Kim Nichols, who is the Chief TPO Production Officer at PennyMac, and Nick Pabarcus, who is Sales Director at Logan Finance. Hi guys, welcome.
Hi, thanks Susan, thanks for having us.
Oh, this is great. I wanted to have you on because we are just days now away from our big Western Secondary Market Conference. You two are serving as co-chairs this year, which is going to be great. It's happening at our new location, the Terranea in Rancho Palos Verdes. So I want to start out with, what can you share with our listeners about our new venue?
Oh my gosh, the Terranea is gorgeous. And, I live in the LA area and really knew nothing about it. And it is kind of a hidden gem. It has sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean. No matter where you are in the back of the resort, it's just breathtaking. And being that it's August, we should have great, oceanside weather there. It should just be fabulous.
Yeah, it's an amazing spot. For those folks that are not from Southern California, it's nestled in this point that's basically just south of like the Manhattan, Redondo, Hermosa area, and then just north of like the Long Beach, San Pedro area. So it's pretty isolated out on this point. The views in the coastline are just incredible. And if you're flying in from out of town, you've got 3 airport options. So you could hit LAX, you could hit John Wayne. There is a little interesting one out of Long Beach. So if you fly into Long Beach, it's like a 25-minute drive to get in there if you can find an airline to fly into it. So it is a great spot. It's more accessible than you would think. But once you are there, you really want to be there.
You're happy you made the trip, that's for sure. And I've flown into that Long Beach airport. It's not bad. It's not bad. If you can find it, it works. It works. What are some of the agenda items that we can let our listeners know it'll be the highlights for this year?
So Nick and I are very excited about the agenda that's been pulled together. We have some great panelists, some very intriguing topics. I'll just start off by saying our capital markets panel is really, really strong this year. We've got Fannie, Freddie, we're hearing from some aggregators, it's really, the topics are very timely. We've got the GSEs up there. We'll be shedding light on the Mission Index, talk about, interest rates and spread trends, and a variety of topics that impact our capital markets executives. So we're super excited about that one. I'm going to be moderating a panel called Margin Killers. We could rename it to be, Margin Preservers, but Margin Killers sounded so much more interesting. We've got a great panel on that, really to talk about, something that's just so important to all of us in the industry right now, and that is how to, optimize, maximize, and protect your margin.
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic with the contemporary topics each year. So this is the 3rd year I've either been chair or co-chair, and Kim, it's so interesting to see over the years how the sessions really evolve into what the pertinent topics are. And to have Kim on as the chair has been just fantastic for her to reach out to connections that we didn't have before, and really be able to get contemporary topics on the table. So of all of the sessions, I think that there's something for everybody there. I'm very humbled to be moderating the CEO panel, and it is an all-star lineup for sure, especially in this environment where culture is ever changing. Profitability can be challenging. How to manage through those tumultuous times, I think, is really a testament to some of the leadership that we've seen in the marketplace, and I think something to pull from these panelists. And so Terry Schmidt with Guild, Doug Jones at PennyMac, Bill Lohman at American Pacific, and Ike Surrey from Funding Shield. Boy, you really have a diverse group there that probably has very interesting and different management styles that I think will be fantastic for a bunch of different owner operators or senior leaders to be able to listen to and leverage. So very excited about that one.
And we put a lot of work into the agenda, and you're right, it does kind of change. There are some things that are staples, but then there are things that change as the market does, and what are the topics that are top of mind for lenders. And so congratulations to you both. I think you put a very strong agenda together, and I know that our attendees are really going to enjoy it. One of the things that I have been thinking about is that it's important for our industry to understand that the proceeds from this conference, and actually all of our events, are really invested right back into the industry in the form of our advocacy efforts. I mean, we are a nonprofit organization that represents the real estate finance industry. And I think that, when some people, I'm not sure I'm going to register, but I might go and meet a few people, really want to, encourage them or share that when you support our events, you're really kind of supporting everything in the industry and everything that all the advocacy efforts that we are involved with in California. But do you think that do you find that folks miss that connection?
Absolutely. As a newer board member, I didn't realize that. And, as I've been serving on the board and being pretty close to all the efforts of CMBA and what we're focusing on, it's pretty impressive. And the way that CMBA is serving the lending community here in California. And I just want to give a shout out on the PR campaign to highlight the California insurance crisis. We're fighting to get policymakers to enact reforms to protect homeowners and small business owners. Really, really important topic, and CMBA has done a great job of trying to get more attention, focus, and urgency on that issue. There are a couple of other things that I've been really impressed with the efforts of CMBA and the team, the lobbyists, Susan, you and your staff have been working on.
Yeah, since I've been involved with the California MBA, it really has been eye-opening, since California is at ground zero for mortgage legislation across the country. And we really do have a responsibility, not only for California, but for the industry. As we've seen over the years, there are dozens of bills that the California MBA has either supported or thwarted that have shaped our industry. And as you said in this spot currently, Kim highlighted the California insurance crisis. Every single one of you is affected by that. We have another bill that's actually up, which is AB 2930, which is basically allowing borrowers to opt out of automated underwriting tools. As you could imagine, it will really severely affect your manufacturing of those particular loans. It will add cost to the process and overall give a far worse borrower experience. And so those are the kind of things that actually come across Susan's desk, Susan, virtually every day. And we are very passionate about the advocacy and ensuring that that we have the best possible conditions to provide residential finance to the borrowers here in California. And that's important to us. We're passionate about it. And it's something that is at the core value of the California MBA.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate that. And I, want to thank all of our sponsors and the folks that have registered for the conference, because again, they are helping support our advocacy efforts as well. So as we said, you're both putting a tremendous amount of time and effort into putting the agenda together for our signature event for residential lending Western Secondary Market Conference. And of course, you're both in my leadership on my board of directors. Can you share with our listeners why it's important to support the California MBA?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's so many benefits to being a member of the California Mortgage Bankers Association. We talked about the advocacy efforts. Supporting the conferences, I think, is critical. The fundraising that we do through those conferences goes directly into those advocacy efforts that we talked about. Now, I think there always are going to be some folks who are in the lobby and the bar that might not go to the conference. That might always happen, but we encourage you to register. All of that money goes directly into advocating for you. And the membership with the California MBA, I would encourage everybody on that, from the networking events to the committees that you can get involved in and lend your particular expertise in, along with showcasing your company. I mean, it is a great platform. Susan does these podcasts. Kim and I were a second and third choice. There's a whole bunch of other folks that you'd be doing this with, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for you to market your company, to market your personal brand through the California MBA, and we have a slew of those options if you're a member. So I would encourage a registration for the conference and then membership with the California MBA. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. Nick and Kim, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. To access any of our past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time on Connect.